I've got a really terrible habit of starting to talk about something and then moving on to the next subject and then not coming back to the other one. So I just, from the last video, continued. Yeah, Russell Brand is now reduced to just like celebrity activist, when for a brief moment it looked like he was gonna, you know, be politically, socially, historically influential, and unfortunately now it looks like he's not. And I was talking about the legalization of drugs documentary that he did, which I agree with, but it's kind of like, if you become the public face, if that becomes your public face, that becomes the thing that you're campaigning against most strongly, you're not going to get hold of like the middle classes and the older people, because this is the trouble is in this country, you know, a lot of people can see how fucked we are, and how, you know, how much the ruling classes abuse the working classes. A lot of people are well aware of that, but it's that the middle class that feel that their life is quite comfortable that you really need to convert to the idea. And, you know, hippie types like myself and him don't do that very successfully, unfortunately, by, you know, by talking about, you know, how we think drugs should be legal or whatever. And it's kind of like, I'm not saying he shouldn't say that, he should say that because he believes that, and I also agree with it, and I just think he should be saying it. But I'm saying that if that's like the only thing that he's really campaigning for, or the thing that he's best known for, I know it's not the only thing that he's campaigning for, but if that becomes his face, then, you know, it's gonna go in an opposite direction to where it should be going. I think it's just going to be another, you know, well-meaning voice. Anyway, that's enough about that. The next topic that I wanted to get onto from another one of my videos, which I didn't give justice to because I moved away from it too quickly. Yeah, still on the subject of Russell Brand. Sorry, I don't want to sound like Mark Chapman obsessive type or anything, but, you know, I do feel, you know, he's come along at a time in my life and saying almost the same things as I'm thinking. That's relevant, you know, that is really relevant, and I'm just talking about myself because I am myself. You think about yourself and how that applies to you, and that will tell you of the relevance of it. So yeah, so what I was going to say, in fairness, is that I haven't read his book, and he might actually talk in a bit more detail about moving away from the monetary system in that book, because my biggest criticism of it is that he doesn't talk about that. That's not one of the issues that he pursues, which shows to me that he's probably working for the man-controlled opposition sort of thing. But that's by the by, because that's a theory and who knows. But, you know, the money-free society, as you will know if you've watched my videos, is what I'm all about. Well, no, it's not. I'm not all about it, because I'm fucking still consenting to this society and enjoying it a lot of the time as well, and not entirely sure, really, if I'm serious enough, you know, to... Because there's people out there that already live this way, you know. You go and live on a commune, on a farm or something, and it's like, if I ask myself, would I rather do that, or would I rather just have loads of money in the bank and just live the wild life in the city? I don't know, honestly, what I would do, you know. It might change when I've got kids, I think. If and when I have children, I think I will move them away from this city. But, anyway, yeah, so... long-winded way of saying that I found a thing called the Money Free Party, right? moneyfreeparty.org. I said it in one of the other videos. There's also a Facebook page, Nick Tapping for Councillor, alright? This guy Nick Tapping, he's councillor down in Poole in Dorset. Or he's, you know, he's running for political power, you know? And it's very much a fringe thing. I don't know, how far it's going to go, but that is something that I would definitely support. That is something I would definitely vote for, because he made quite a nice video where he's just asking people, look, this is Nick Tapping, right? The reason I'm relating it to Russell Brand is because he's posting a lot of Russell Brand stuff on his page, and some of it leads me to think, oh, maybe Russell Brand has said something about this maybe Russell Brand has been supportive of this in his book, but I haven't read the book, so I shouldn't criticise him. That's it. That's end of that. But this Nick Tapping made a video where he's asking people, look, if you got your clothes free and you got your food free and you got your accommodation for free, you got everything that you needed for free, would you work for free? So it's a simple question. I couldn't think of a simple answer, and most people gave that answer. Yeah, of course I would. And that's all I'm getting at, really, is that we can have society almost exactly. We don't have to go to caveman communal living. We don't have to do it. We can carry on as we are. But you consent to the system, and you play your part in the system by doing a job, not to get rewarded with the bits of paper or the numbers on your bank account, but to get this quality of life that you have. And what you would find is that for most people the quality of life increases, because when we're constrained by the bits of paper or the numbers on the screen, if you don't have enough of those numbers and you don't have enough of those bits of paper, then most stuff you can't buy. And obviously the cost of goods and services are controlled by, the masters of the economy, the rich people that buy the houses up, and, the rich people that, move money from one account to another and take off the interest in between. This is like, this system only suits those people, and for everyone else, yeah, we've got a bit of money in our pocket, but we can't fucking do anything with it. You know what I mean? It's not enough to really change your life. It's enough to go and get drunk or go and get stoned, or just, have a roof over your head for another fucking week. And we're living hand to mouth very much so in the West like that. A lot of people are anyway. So, wasn't it a better system that you just do your bit, you contribute with labour, and you are assured of never going hungry or homeless or cold? You know what I mean? That's just a much, much better system, and that's not a system that we should be working towards. You got to compromise ideas like the basic income, which again I've never heard Russell Brand really talk about that, but maybe he does in the book. But you got to compromise ideas, which I think is not quite good enough, but it is a start. It's how we can start, because you can't jump from A to Z. It's why I know I repeat myself a lot, but it's worth repeating. The communist system has failed not only because it's been implemented by megalomaniacs, and greed, as usual, has led to corruption, but it's also tried to implement too massive a change in too short an amount of time. And actually we could fade that in a little bit better, and some system like the basic income, just look at that basic income, all right, you find out something about that. Some system like that would help us ease into a money-free society, and within 50 or 100 years we could have a money-free society. And to come back to my spiritual notion of us all being one entity in the universe, the idea that, well, how's it going to help me out because I'll be dead by then, is preposterous, because you won't, because you'll always be here, in one form or another. In 100 years time there'll be someone sitting there, and that person will be you. And if you're watching this video in 50 or 100 years time, which is a nice thought for my ego, but probably very unlikely, and you're sitting here thinking, yeah, I am me. Well, guess what? The person that's going to watch this video next week, they're also sitting there thinking, I am me. There is only you. There only ever will be you. And again, this is a very complex idea that, I don't know, maybe you do need to take drugs to understand this sort of thing a bit better. I don't know, at least you need to break away from, the ideology that we're trained to believe, since we're children, basically. You need to look at the world in a totally new way and realise that, we got to change things for the better for the future, because somebody somewhere will be sitting there having the experience that you're having now, because it's the only experience that exists, you know. So you are doing it for yourself, and if not, you're doing it for your grandchildren, you know, or you're doing it for your grandchildren's grandchildren, or whoever you're doing it for, or you're doing it for the planet just because you love the planet that you came from and you recognise that you are a part of that. So look, that's the way society should be going, and that's worth looking at. moneyfree.org, Nick tapping for counsellor, I reckon it's worth looking at. Alright, did I make the point? Was that the second point I wanted to elaborate on? Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, but that's 11 minutes. Think yourselves lucky, I'm not going to talk for the remaining 3, but there is another video coming in about 5 minutes.